Right. Welcome, everyone, to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I'm DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'm going to be with you for this last show of 2022 of a little bit of news, but mostly just teaser stuff, because while we have a lot that we're doing and have been doing in recent weeks, I really can't tell you much about it yet. However, we're going to have a big dump of stuff tomorrow to talk about because we've got some special sales going on that we're going to be kicking off tomorrow and running through the rest of the holiday season. But I can't really tell you anything about that today. But, we've had our December deals. That'll continue. We'll have our regular weekly sales. That'll continue. We'll have a nice set of bonuses to go through the holidays, which I can talk about in just a little bit. We do have the Night Revels wrapping up today, so now's the last chance to get that in if you want to. That'll be going away tomorrow. And we've got our next bonuses kicking off then through the holidays. Festival continues through the holiday as well. And we've got some special releases in the DDO store and even the DDO market. We're doing a holiday sale here that'll kick off tomorrow. It should be up by probably late morning, early afternoon Eastern time, and then we'll get all the word out about it. But we've got some pretty special stuff that we'll be doing, so you do want to keep an eye out if you're interested in that kind of thing. Keep an eye out on our Twitter or Facebook. It'll be in the game launcher too. But that's all going to be kicking off tomorrow rather than today. I can tell you that the holiday bonus that we're going to be doing is Heroic and Epic XP of 10%. And a special VIP 15% boost, and that's going to be going through Sunday, January 1st, 2023. So, might be a good weekend if you're taking it easy over the new year, or maybe you had a really busy New Year's Eve and such. They'll be running through New Year's Day, 2023, and then shutting off the morning of January 2nd. And that'll be kicking off tomorrow. Generally by also early afternoon Eastern time. Formally, we tend to say it's Friday, but it's not actually Friday because we activate it on Thursdays. But it's when we get to the process on Thursdays. So that'll be happening. Heroic Epic 10% XP and 15% VIP XP will be our DDO bonus, day's bonus. And oh, you're right. I need to change the title of the stream, don't I? I was doing testing earlier, and this is what I get. Sorry. I'll have to fix it in post. But for new visitors, at least, it'll be correct, I believe. Yes, I can talk a little bit about server transfers to from Orion/Sarlona, and I understand we even may have some issues with Arganesson currently at the moment. I don't have good news necessarily to say because we are still investigating it, but we are investigating it. And as soon as we are able to re-enable transfers to Orion and Sarlona, then we will do some kind of free transfer period. But we don't want to do that until after we've actually solved this problem. And here's the rub, is that, as I understand it, at this exact moment, transfers to Sarlona are working. Someone reported on the forums yesterday that they were able to successfully transfer to Sarlona, but we didn't do anything that would have impacted that. Not our weekly reboot, which would be today, sometimes has had an impact, but not consistently. And so we haven't been able to rely on our weekly maintenance-related reboots to solve this transfer problem, because it hasn't solved the problem, except when it does. And it seems like at the so we have a periodic issue going on here with Sarlona. So I think at the moment you can technically transfer to Sarlona, but it's not the free period because we need to solve this problem, and then we will be announcing that separately. So a little bit of a weird state heading into the holidays, but it is currently expected that at least with Orion and Sarlona, and at the moment Arganesson, although that's also been inconsistent, you will not currently be able to transfer your character. And we are actively investigating. We have engineers and others that have been working on it in recent weeks as a high priority, so for obvious reasons. All right. Well, how are we doing here? Got a pretty chill end of the week. not too many viewers then, and all that sort of thing. That's cool. Who? Top people. Well, specifically some of our more senior game engineers have been taking a look at it in recent weeks. So kind of top people, as a matter of fact. Their technical know-how for, especially when you're a layperson like myself, is consistently pretty incredible. So there you go. All right. Otherwise, like I said, it's really going to be a pretty chill stream here today. I don't have a lot of big news I can talk about. All the big news is going to start tomorrow and then into early January. I expect that once we're all back from the holiday break, because yes, like many businesses and especially game studios and such, we are taking a brief holiday break in the near future here, although not yet. We're working through tomorrow, I guess, formally. And then when we get back to the office following a holiday break, we'll be focusing on things like getting out a producer's letter. I would expect that sometime around the anniversary time frame, maybe a little before if we can do it. And in the meantime, we'll have some more information about the DDO Winter Games. We'll probably end up teasing a bit what we've got going on before that producer's letter as well, just due to timing. And as you are well aware, 2023 is going to be a pretty exciting year for not just Dungeons & Dragons Online, but Dungeons & Dragons in general, because we've got a little movie coming out that's going to be happening in late March that I think is going to be awesome. But whatever it ends up being, it's going to put D&D briefly into the spotlight, and sure, we would like to take advantage of that. And we have some pretty big plans for 2023 already, but not too much I can share with you right now, other than, like I say, we've got this slate of things that we're doing in December, and then in January, I believe later in January, probably something like a week or two after the end of Festival, because remember, Festival goes through... When does it go through? I need to look at our dates. I think it's something like January 8th for the coins, the coins dropping in January 15th for the Jester Festival. Gosh, I hope I'm right on that. I could be wrong. But something like that. And then after that, the DDO Winter Games will come back. And then pretty soon after that, right, we're right into the anniversary time frame. So we have quite a bit going on here that we'll be releasing in the coming weeks. But not today and not next week either. So I mostly am just going to be hanging out. Because I do community work, yes, someone does have to keep an eye on the forums and Twitter and all these other things over the holidays. So, I'll be doing that. But I do basically have my son with me through the holiday break, through his school break, and we're just having fun around the house and hanging out and doing local holiday-related things. We'll probably go see like a Festival of Lights kind of thing and some other fun things that I've got planned. So the longest term holiday tradition among SSG, and this really is more of a Turbine thing because it predates SSG, but it's the Star Wars Holiday Special. It used to be that just about every year right before break there was kind of an in-office sort of hangout style social gathering. Don't call it a party. It was a social gathering, a totally above-board social gathering. And we would often hang out and watch the Star Wars Christmas special together. That, as a formal tradition, really ended when we became SSG, although some people, we still have been doing it a bit. But then COVID, of course, really kind of knockered that one out. So we didn't do it this year either. But now that we're all working from home and such, and maybe the Star Wars Christmas special is a little easier to watch even these days. But that used to be the the sort of team annual tradition, Turbine / SSG, and it still is in our hearts. So, but yeah, it was always an optional gathering. You didn't have to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special, but you could, and it was a pretty good time. So, all right, let us move to, I believe, I should be in game. All right. Otherwise, you know, I celebrate Christmas, and I've got the Christmas tree and the lights and the holidays and presents and things. And it'll be a really nice time. So, like I said, I'm going to go see a Festival of Lights with my son. Well, we have a couple of options to pick from this year, and that should be neat. And, you know, lots of hanging out and relaxing a bit too. So, yeah. So I have. Let's fingers crossed here. I have solved my computer issues here. Third time's the charm on this one. Sorry, it's taken such a problem. For those who were watching in recent weeks, I ended up basically having to bail on the stream. Because once I would get in game, my stream software would just bomb out, and just when I was looking at the game client, everything was nice and smooth, but the stream software was exporting something with a frame rate of like 1 to 2 frames a second, and that clearly wasn't acceptable. So over the past week here, who am I kidding? This morning, I went and got OBS running up. And we'll get it more polished with transitions and things in the future, assuming this works out as well as it appears to be at the moment. In terms of bug fixes and kind of related game patches, I would expect to see something in early January, maybe early mid-January, not too long after we get back. I would expect to see some kind of game update patch to correct a few issues that we've been working on. But really, the team at this point is hard at work on what's next, and we can't really say too much about that at the moment, but we do have quite a bit happening. Stories and quests and other things that I can't talk about. Is Gust of Wind giving a save? It seems like it might be bugged like Greater Shout. I haven't heard that. I mean, that sounds potentially. I know over the years we've had issues with Gust of Wind, so I can't necessarily speak to. That. Actually, you know what? I would have. No, let me see here. No, I really don't know what to mention about the Gust of Wind. Sorry. Are you saying Gust of Wind being cast upon players? If so, that could be an issue. Or are you talking about the player spell version of Gust of Wind? So I guess it would probably be about, or I'd need to know, obviously someone would need to look into whether Gust of Wind had a save. It should have a save. Could be that if you're running maybe on particularly higher difficulty or something like that, that Gust of Wind would be near impossible to beat. That sounds like maybe what's going on, but I guess we'd see. But it should be the same. As far as I don't think in well, Gust of Wind might be one of the few exceptions, but I don't think in general we have a different version of Gust of Wind for monsters as players. Some of the stats might be different, but I don't think the actual like spell being cast is particular. No, maybe that's not true. I might be wrong. I know over the years there have been a few times where a gust of wind was a real pain. There was even a few times I know over the years where it's caused like knockdown in public areas. I know that's happened at least even once. So, all right, I don't think there's anything else to see over here. Like I say, this is really going to be a casual stream today. I'm not really doing too much, so. I think we're wrapping up the end of the year, and I think this will be the... I think this will probably be the final Wednesday version of the live stream. The reason for that is it was originally created back in, gosh, 2015, 2016. And at that time, we usually did our patches on Mondays, Tuesdays. But these days, just about everything is on Wednesdays, which in theory is kind of cool, because that means as soon as a thing goes live, we've got an official stream kind of able to talk about it, show it off, what have you. But in practice, it's often the downtime is bleeded into the noontime for the live stream, because our downtimes are typically 9 to 1, even though we mostly get them done earlier. But not always. And so just, especially I think here in 2022, it's become fairly apparent that the Wednesday time frame is not the greatest time frame for me. Also because often right when we're going live with things, right, I have to work, because I do have an actual job that I get paid for here. I got to do things like messaging and communications, and if something comes up, you know, I've got to be able to escalate it to the team and all that sort of thing. So I'm moving the show. I don't know what I'm moving the show to, but I think it'll be something like Friday. I think what I'm currently thinking is Friday at 4 p.m. So really kind of an end of the week stream. And I think that's going to work out pretty good, timing-wise, because I'll be able to still have guests and official interviews and stuff. People will still be working. By that point, they're usually getting close to wrapping up for the workday, right? So odds are fairly good I can kind of be like, hey, come on over to the show and things. And certainly by Friday afternoon at 4, you know, whatever's happening through the weekend's going to be happening. Hope for the most part, right? I suppose in theory not, but in practice, we're often not bringing the games down on Friday afternoon. So it should be fine there too. It will be a little bit of a bummer in that, like I say, the intention of being able to kind of be right there with the thing will be, when we go live, will not be there because of the change in timing. But I think just for everything's schedule's sake, I think Friday afternoon is what I'm going to come back to. I used to do a Friday noon show on the DDO side, for those who remember that. And it was called Friday Afternoon. But these days, that's when I'm doing the Lord of the Rings Online show version of this. So I'm not going to drop that schedule. And so it would have to be after that, and then after the work that I have to do after that, and then after the work that I have to do after that work. And so about 4 p.m. is about, I think, where we're going to land. I could do 5, but I kind of would prefer to do 4. It would just be nice for me. Because if I start at 5 to 6, that means every Friday I have to work at least until 6 p.m. And there will never be a chance to, do anything else. So we'll see.
Branches thrum with life force. They look sturdy enough to walk across.
They are. Yep. That's true. That's true. It makes it awful late in the evening for people in Europe. I actually am very cognizant of that. That was something I was really kind of unsure about. I'm still, yeah, you're right. It's not the greatest for that. But every other time I was trying to pick, I was like, well, I can't do it then. Well, I can't do it then. And it just kind of has been a bit of a challenge, frankly, to find the right replacement time for Wednesday. But Wednesday isn't, which might lead you to be like, well, okay, so let's just stick with Wednesday. But I can't. I think we've proven this year that it'll just be a better show if I am not trying to do it at noon every Wednesday. So I recognize that that's like, what, 10 p.m. in Germany? And that stinks. All right.
Another woodwork guard protected pathway. The creature notices your approach.
One of the weird quirks about this character is, like my prayer and my bane and stuff do damage, like AoE damage. It's neat. I haven't fully really integrated it into my playing yet. I'm always like, oh yeah, I keep on forgetting I can do that kind of a thing. But it is one of the things I have been really enjoying about this Dark Apostate. It's been pretty fun. I don't know about you. I love playing my Dark Apostate. This is currently one of my favorite characters to play. It really is. I don't know, it's just cool. I'm just digging it. Okay, that's where I came from. I want to go up, but... Or no. I came from here, so now I want to go... I should really put my destruction on a quicken. It's a pretty cool looking thing. I'm going to kind of zoom in. Let's take a look at the fire beetle face. In your face, fire beetle. Gosh, I'm glad they don't do that in real life. You know, I'm actually going to talk real quiet into the microphone here for a second, because I happen to think that the DDO community would be interested in knowing a little bit about a certain holiday present that might be coming to the household from a certain visitor this holiday season. That would be a 3D printer. So what am I going to be doing next week? I'm going to be messing with minis. That's what I'm going to be doing. I don't think I can do any of this stuff. Yeah. When should we be expecting? Let me see. What am I doing? Investigate the. Oh, there's the other hallway. That's what I need to do. I would not be able to expect to be able to outfit hirelings anytime soon. I think that would be a pretty big task when I start thinking about, like, okay, well, how would we create a cosmetic style system for hirelings? I just don't see us doing that. Sorry. I remember at one time there was a consideration about a system that of creating a hireling system that it would level with you, right? And when we went through the investigatory process, the actual sort of, okay, so how would we do that? And how would it work? And would it be effective? And what have you? It ended up kind of opening a big can of worms in terms of the hireling system. I don't think the idea of a hireling that levels with you is very likely to happen. I'm not going to say never on that, but it seems like it would be... It's particularly fraught with all sorts of issues that would make it more difficult than you'd think. Even if you did a thing where you essentially created 32 hirelings, one for each level, and then would deliver a hireling, you know, for each level, that's 32 hirelings per... you know, per. And that's just not... You know, it's something you could theoretically do that, like, once, maybe twice. But in terms of long-term support, that just really wouldn't work. And so that's why we've never really pursued something like that.
Gigantic animals will eventually return to their home plane.
Yeah, Hardcore Season 8 as a defense. Everything is a defense quest with the hireling. And if your hireling dies, you lose the Hardcore Season. Yeah, I bet that would be really popular. I bet people would love it. Most exclusive hardcore cosmetics ever. Totally. Yeah, you know, the friendly fire thing has come up occasionally. Not that it would be functional really in the current hardcore setup, but could, you know, the idea of a friendly fire day, you know, or a event or a quest or, you know, whatever it might be, right? So it's come up occasionally. We've even had scenarios, you know, where
Visit 3 fortresses and attune to a ward in each one.
there was a time in Ravenloft, for example, where it was accidentally enabled for a brief period, and people got to kind of experience it in that one quest, right? I can't remember which one now. Excuse me.
The clangor of battle reverberates from the walls.
I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to try. I mean, we have versions of that essentially through kind of like the PvP and such, but it's not quite the same as people are aware, right? So
Deva explains, the devil forces have stormed this fortress. While the Celestials are willing to assist you,
Oh, how about if I buff
you need to
myself?
first close the portals.
It'll be fine. But that has come up. Who knows? Maybe that will happen someday. Maybe we'll have, or at least a form where it becomes available, you know? We'll have to see. I don't think I can... I'm supposed to be able to get across... I don't have my current flight ability, I don't believe. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this is just for that. Wink. Oops. Yeah, but it's just for a collectible. I wasn't really willing to do that.
This courtyard has been ravaged by the devil's attack. 3 open portals allow the devil troops to stream in.
Another tower down. On to the next.
Honestly, forehand, this is a pretty kind of chill end of the year stream. I don't think I've really given much in the way of news. I think the biggest news I gave on stream here was that we have a special slate of holiday sales that we're going to be rolling out with tomorrow. Really some of our biggest discounts of the year in a non-hype, like just the facts sort of way. We're
Portals have been closed.
having a holiday sale of significance that we'll be announcing tomorrow, and it'll have some good special deals in it. So I would keep an eye out, as they say. Wait a second. I feel like I'm missing something. What did I do? Maybe I just need to go back. Yeah, there's nothing back here. Okay. To another door. Yes, on top of the December deals. People, I think, who have been watching us for long enough will kind of have a good idea what I'm not saying in terms of the kinds of things we typically offer during limited duration items during the holidays.
Take it way down. Fast legs feel
Things like
not a full backpack.
that you might find in the DDO store and in the DDO market.
The Celestial Commander grants you access to the Celestial Sigil to thank you for your assistance. The sigil glows brightly. Attuning to the Celestial Ward will help you gain access to the Eye of Shavran.
Chris the Missword is asking about us becoming more generous with the raid loot and skeletons in the closet. I have heard of no plans to make the raid loot easier to get. Why did I take that secret door? Didn't I need to? Okay. Oh, okay. No, I am going the wrong way. Of course I am. So this must be next. Yeah. Is it a big problem? I don't know. I certainly appreciate the feedback on it. I just, should the current endgame raid have the best, rarest loot? Yeah.
To the west stands a closed metal door, protected by a
That's kind of the point, right? So if we just hand it out like M&Ms, but then there's a happy medium, so, But, I don't know. I guess I am... So far, I think we're basically comfortable with the drop rate of the loot and skeletons in the closet. Especially now that people are really just discovering the secret optional and such as well. A month or so now, but you know what I mean. So, I would not expect to see any changes related to that. I'm also not sure that your figure is accurate, but I will just trust your work on it. I have not seen something like a 16% figure. I guess that would kind of make sense. I did talk a little bit earlier forehand about the transfer issues. At the moment, they're still actively under investigation. We don't have really anything new to say there, other than somehow we too saw the player report that was on the forums that suddenly they were able to transfer to Sarlona like yesterday or the day before. And that's weird. But ultimately, that doesn't mean we're like signaling it all clear, because it's a spotty resumption of functionality at best. So once we get it more formally corrected, then we'll go through the aforementioned plans related to Sarlona.
The lever is pulled.
It would be a really bad idea to try to do that right now, you know? Chris, that's a good question, although I don't have the answer for it. That would really need to be a question I think someone on the systems team could more properly address. The question being, it is your assertion that Shout and Greater Shout's damage is not matching up what it was intended. It should be whatever it's stating in the tooltip. So whatever's in the tooltip should be what is available. And what you were seeing. And if that's not true, then it should be corrected. Oops. All right. Okay, wait a second. So, I did this thing now. Open the gate. Do I just need to click on the gate? What am I missing? Okay. And yeah, that positioning is typical hireling behavior, right? If they're side facing and there's a little bit of physics in the way, they're just not able to do it. So you just want to call them to you is generally the way to do it. Call them to you, let it refresh, and you should be able to do what you want. Alright, I am kind of stuck, folks. I haven't got a hint as to what I need to do here. I do not know what I'm supposed to do. There's nothing there. I guess I would put out one final call here to anyone who has not yet heard from me related to Extra Life. Now is very much the time to do so. I'd be happy to get you your stuff. If you hear this and it's 2 months from now or whatever, that's fine too. But now's a good time to get in touch with me if you have not. So I believe, fingers crossed, that I've gotten in touch with everybody, or pretty darn close to it. There were maybe 1 or 2 people who I just don't have info from, and so I'm hoping you contact me. But there we go. So I thought I went up, right? And so here's the lever, and I used the lever. It must just be something I missed a while back, and I have to go back for that I can't, which is why the gate's not opening. So let me just double back and go back through and see if perhaps there's something I missed over here. Because I didn't fully explore this. I did just kind of hop my way up. So... oh. No. But that's it, though. Hmm. Oh, so people are telling me, giving me good advice, and I'm just not. So like, if I go back up the staircase, right? Then I cross the path. People are saying there. Well, so if Sonic Blast specifically needed to see a damage adjustment for balance reasons, you know, I don't think the idea of every spell must do X damage is necessarily going to hold true over time, right? Even if in update 48.4 there was some indicator that perhaps it would be a little higher than that. You know, adjustments will often need to be made to deal with things like the particular vulnerability of creatures to sonic damage and what have you. So I guess it's, you know, seems pretty normal to me. But if you'd like to argue perhaps that it should be higher, you know, it's an argument people could put forth. Alright, well, I am just stuck. I do not know where I need to be, nor how to get there. That sucks. Okay, so it is in this dead end. So why am I not... Well, now what do I do? Oh, here we go. Yay! There we are. Yeah, I'll have to go back for that. I'll remember that in just a second. I would agree, greater shout should be greater than regular shout. That totally makes sense. I know that, you know, at least for a while there was a real meta around Sonic, and it's going back a while now, right? But even so, there was certainly a time where you could argue that Sonic damage was ridiculously OP and needed to be adjusted. I don't think that day is today, however.
Thorn growled a curse in a forbidden language as it reached its throat. Then protections around the devil's sigil sputtered and failed.
I would need to look at the dating of what was going on during update 48.4 to give you a better sense of it. But overall, you know, to your point that the main thing to take away is whatever we state it does is what it should do. And if it doesn't do that, then that is something we should either adjust so that it states that it does what it actually does. Or not. Did I not? What? Oh, demonic. Oh, right, okay.
The demon's fortress is better described as a
Okay, like, for example, someone is saying ice flower perhaps is incorrect right now.
stomping feet, scraping paws, clattering ears.
The only thing I'm also a little concerned about in regard to the greater shout thing, Chris, is that it could just be a release note error, you know? Or maybe that was what it was in an earlier state of the release notes on the Mania, and the actual change list as went live was different. And that could just be we would need to correct the release notes. I would need to go back to however, couple of years ago, to see what was going on in terms of what we stated on the Mania versus the change list as implemented. I mean, ideally, every release note would always be 100% accurate, but
Way down.
things sometimes happen. You know,
Full backpack.
like sometimes if I don't get the information, then clearly the information I present to you is also wrong, right? Not that people do that or a lot or deliberately or anything like that, but you know, stuff happens. So. I have been. I have not had much free time in my real life to get a lot of game time in general, but I have been playing Update 57 and enjoying the quests. And I've still been. This was gosh, I guess I haven't really had time to play though for a couple weeks. Reasoning is because of Extra Life. Every night I was sitting there going through the spreadsheets. There was like almost 500 people this year I had to get back to, which is an amazing feat. It's an amazing feat. Extra Life was really amazing this year. Getting in touch with 500 people can be tricky when you start to do the math, right? Because then you're like, okay, so let's say the entirety of the process, the entirety of the start to finish interaction with a person for Extra Life is 3 minutes, and you have 500 people to get back to. That's 1,500 minutes, which is quite a few hours, right? So very quickly, the actual amount of time you have to kind of, the actual work time becomes very, very pretty significant. And so the last really since Thanksgiving, pretty much all night every night, once I got all my obligations for the day done, it was usually about 9 o'clock at night or so, I would just spend basically just about every night the past couple of weeks here just going through the list and getting it done. But I have it done. All with the exception of just a few people. I had one person who only gave me an email address, for example, except their email keeps getting rejected. Like every time I try to send something, it rejects it. And I don't even have a character or a forum name or anything to get, like, I don't know who they are. A few little kind of odds and ends like that, but the vast majority of everyone got me good info and has their stuff. And that's been really nice. I think overall went pretty smoothly this year. Next year I'm just going to have to be more explicit, I think, in the survey that I make everyone fill out. Not to give me your account name, but rather to give me your forum name, because I can't do much really with an account name. I can. It's not that I can't. But I would have to go through customer service to associate it with a forum name and then get in touch with you through your forum name. And so that's just, a bit onerous. So that's why like something like a forum name or a Twitter handle or email address really worked good this year. With a few exceptions. And that'll just get ironed out next year. But if you haven't yet heard back from me, if you don't yet have your stuff, please do. Just send me a private message through the DDO forums, and I'd be happy to look through the list, see what I can do to make sure I have you marked down and things, and I'll get you your stuff. No worries. And if you're hearing this in March, and you still like, oh yeah, right, that's fine too. There's no deadline per se on this sort of thing. All right. I think that's going to be that. That is amazing. So a streamer by the name of XX Nodens XX raised $1,000 for St. Jude's on their DDO streams for Extra Life. I was not personally aware of that, but that is fantastic news. Congratulations to that streamer for doing that. Yeah, I recognize. I think just to put to bed my last comment here then on Sonic is I recognize that I think the damage is not maybe what it used to be. There are lots of other things these days like light damage that are pretty darn nice, and perhaps someday in the future when the team is in a position to take a look at Sonic damage, we could do that for Sonic Blast or Shout and Greater Shout rather in particular. We'd have to see. Might involve just reworking the spell, so that it's less of a thing. All right. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up with the show here. And this will be the end of the 2022 for the show. I will not be doing a show next week. And when I return in January, I'll announce the formal name, time, and start date for the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. Reason I'm not announcing that now is I can't be 100% sure I'm going to be able to get it done that first week in January. Depends what's going on, both at work and in other places at that time frame. But it'll be like the first couple weeks of January here that I'll re-kick off the show with something on Friday afternoons, and I will have more information about that. Happy holidays, everyone, no matter which holiday you are celebrating, you and yours, or none. Hope you have a great one here in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for playing Dungeons & Dragons online with us, and thank you for being here throughout 2022. It's been a lot of fun, and we got a lot happening here in the coming months that we'll have more information about, and tomorrow we're kicking off a pretty big round of sales and bonuses to carry us through the holidays as well. So I will talk to you all later, and hope you have a really great couple of weeks. See you soon.